People don't see the value because they think it's superficial.
Yes.
They think it's just like dancing videos. I mean, we've heard people say, I don't want to like just post dancing videos.
Yes.
It's like, that's not the whole point.
And I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I've never asked anyone to dance on social media.
For the record.
Yeah, no, like
put it
let
in
it
the
be
transcript.
known. I do like that we're talking about this though, because it brings up the conversation of GEO.
Absolutely.
People thinking that, they don't have the time for social media, or why does it matter, all those things. I think that social media becomes even more important when we talk about GEO.
Welcome to the Neon Buzz, where we offer marketing advice for oral, aesthetic, and other elective healthcare professionals. Sit back and relax while we share our digital marketing secrets to help you grow your practice.
Welcome back to the Neon Buzz. I'm Katie, our senior social media specialist, and this is Emily.
I'm the director of SEO and communications.
Yes, and today we're going to talk about SEO on social media. So it's perfect. Blending our two worlds, which honestly, this is a long time coming.
Absolutely.
I can't believe we've never done an episode together.
I can't either, because I feel like y'all don't see this, but behind the scenes, Katie and I will help each other like plan for different episodes. And so we'll spend 30, 45 minutes on a phone call, and we're like, well, this could have been recorded. This could have been the episode. So
honestly, really, you're just privy to one of our phone calls today. Yeah. We just happen to be recording it. Anytime I put time on your calendar, it could be 15 minutes. It turns into an hour.
Yeah.
We
have to be ambitious, but we can get it done.
This is right. There's always lots of ideas that come of it. And then, we keep just touching on them as we go. And
I know.
It's honestly, so many good things have come out of our conversations, though. Lots of good resources for clients.
Yeah,
theories,
absolutely.
Which we'll talk about some of those today.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, this has been one of the most innovative topics that I think we've discussed, and it's really grown and developed over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
But every time we talk about it, the more I'm convinced that this is where search is headed.
Yeah.
And that we're going to have to really start thinking much bigger and blending all of these different worlds. We always say that digital marketing is like all hands on deck. Like it's every single little piece. What's the whole the rings in the Avengers?
Oh, yes.
It's like collecting them, you know? Why I don't know who that is, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
And so this is one of those examples, again, of just it being that much more important to have every single player in the game on your team so that you can be successful.
And I think we'll talk about traditional SEO a little bit. I have some questions for you, because I have my own theories on and strategies that I've implemented with SEO on social media that I think tie back to a lot of traditional SEO practices.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to talk about that a little bit. My hope today is that, listeners, viewers walk away with lots of actionable items that they can do today.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of these are good hacks. They're things that you can, do the very next time that you post. So we're going to walk through what some of those things are. And then I also want to have a conversation about where the future of search is going in general and how social media has to do with that, specifically when we talk about GEO and LLMs and all the other
my favorite topics.
That, Yeah. Before we get started, I have a statement to make that might be a little controversial, but hashtags are dead. You agree?
Absolutely. They've been dead for forever.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been on this train. I agree with you.
I think when someone hears, SEO on social media, they think about hashtags. That's kind of where SEO started. You think about how are you going to categorize your post? What are you going to put with your post so that it is searchable or so that it can be found? And it used to be, keywords, right? Like specific little words that maybe had to do with your post or your practice or your location. Search has changed a lot. Do you see this? Maybe you can give some insight into traditional SEO and how actual search has changed.
Yeah. I mean, I think they parallel each other very well. So I think hashtags remind me of what I like to call caveman SEO. And so it's back in the day, if you think about the way you would use Google, the way you would search 10 or 15 years ago, 20 years ago, you would string along, you wouldn't ask it just an outright question, right? You would string along a series of keywords that you would hope would surface the answer that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So instead of asking what's the best, when should my child go see an orthodontist, you would say
best
braces,
age for orthodontist.
Yeah, best age braces.
Yes.
Something like that. And it's clunk, clunk, clunk.
Yeah.
This is very similar. So I think what hashtags, the purpose they served was to kind of categorize and put into buckets different pieces of content.
Yes.
And I think the most applicable way, you can easily jump in, and maybe it's because I am getting married in November, so I'm like, it's on the brain. But like, I can remember people having like a wedding hashtag.
Yes.
And it's like, okay, go search, this fun little phrase. It's because nobody else is going to be using it. And if they wanted to find photos, everybody's photos get pulled into this one string of
That's such a good
content.
example. Yes.
Yeah. And so that's the way it worked, essentially, was just, creating these categories. Very similar to a degree with traditional SEO.
And now people are searching as if they're typing it into, a ChatGPT or to Perplexity.
Yeah.
Like they're searching differently. I have proof of that, which we'll talk about when we get into the actual strategies behind it. But it seems like a lot of the SEO, the way that you're changing your strategies for SEO for all of our clients is kind of the way I'm having people change their SEO on social media. No longer using hashtags, but more so using search queries, very, very specific ones, down to the capitalization, down to the punctuation on social media.
So this is crazy. I'd like to go a little bit more in on that because that's not something that I see on my end.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll use TikTok as my example just because it's my favorite and they have the best insights, the best algorithm. Yeah. If we were to post something, on Neon Canvas posted something about branding. And we optimized it in the back end, and we'll talk about what that optimization is. I'll share all my secrets. But if we optimized for someone searching orthodontic logo, we had a post that I think we posted it in January. Maybe 4 months later, it got like 12,000 views after the fact. So I went and started looking at the insights, and TikTok shows you how people found you. So whether it was the For You page or someone shared it with them, whatnot, 97% of the people who saw that post found it through search. And then you scroll down and it tells me exactly what someone searched to find that post. The top 2 answers were both orthodontic logo, but the first one was all lowercase and the second one had orthodontic capitalized. And it showed me right there that they were ranking for both.
Yeah.
But that capitalization mattered, which makes me think that punctuation matters, that grammar matters. What about misspellings? Like, does that play a part? Like, I know that, search engines are going to give you what they think you meant to say, right? But if someone is searching, let's say it's a brand name or a practice name or something like that that is typically misspelled, let's optimize for it because for local search, it's not going to know necessarily to match it up with the right thing. Now, it may. They're getting a lot smarter.
Yeah.
I do think that is interesting. It seems to be quite more, very finicky compared to traditional SEO and what you're seeing on your side of things.
Yeah, because I think, like the misspellings example is a really good one. I think if you think about like traditional search and like using Google, I always go back to like Memphis braces. If I misspell it and it's just MEMPIS.
Yeah.
And I leave out the H, it's still going to know essentially what I'm looking for.
Right.
It'll
still match it up.
Yeah, the algorithm has an intuitive level where it's like knowing generally what the searcher is using or looking for. So that's not necessarily something that's been in our world like as of late. What it tells me though is that social search could possibly be going through one of those iterations where the algorithm is trying to weed out what is the most important for searchers.
Yeah.
And it may be different on social. It may not be the same.
Different per platform too. So like if I search something on TikTok, it's going to autocorrect it for me to kind of fit the spelling. But Instagram, like do
not
better.
As sophisticated.
It doesn't match it up for you the same way. It's really hard. I mean, even think about if you're searching for someone that you follow and you're typing in their name and they spell Allie 4 different ways.
Yeah,
even that,
right.
like they don't match it up the same way. So I'm sure because Instagram does everything TikTok does that it'll eventually come. But I mean, since the beginning of Instagram's time, their search has not been great. Definitely getting better. Sure getting better. But we see TikTok leading the way in all things, especially algorithm and SEO.
Well, and I think that just kind of underscores the whole thing is that I don't think Instagram was not built as a search engine.
Yes.
I think TikTok fundamentally is different because it kind of is, like, at its core, a search engine.
Oh, 100%. 100% it is.
Yeah, I mean, think about how people use it. I mean, like I said, weddings on the brain. So, like, the other day I'm like, like wedding hairstyles for, for fall or whatever. Like, I'm going to look that up in TikTok because the user experience value of that is that I can see it as I'm searching it, and I can see somebody talking about it as they're searching it.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I like that. Oh, go ahead.
Well, just like whereas I could go on Google, do the same thing, and I'm just going to get a series of pictures. Takes a lot more research for me to get through, whereas it's like somebody could just show me, essentially.
And I think, so like maybe a month or two ago, I noticed when I Googled something that, when it says like news, images, it has all these tabs on Google.
Yes.
A new one popped up that says short form video. And I haven't seen it a lot, but I don't know if they're just like beta testing it or what. But I think it's interesting that Google is playing catch up now, I mean,
yeah.
I'm sure in a lot of ways they are, but that's how our worlds intersect right there, is that, video content, short form, someone wants to see from someone they trust. Maybe that's because they're more robots than ever. Whatever those reasonings, reasons are, that Google is also playing the game.
Well, I think it's funny because I think when we realized that tab showed up, that was when we were like, okay, now we have to do an episode. Because it was like the first, we had this instinct for a long time, but it's the first initial proof that it is actually being accepted by Google in this traditional search sphere, which is still important because it has 90% of the search market.
Yeah.
So it's always going to be there.
I hear a lot when I'm talking to people about social media, like, oh, well, who's searching on social media? Like, who, like, no one's, I'm not, like, it's not their behavior, so they don't, assume that it is other people's behavior. But, Forbes put out some data about search and said that, 1 in 4 people are going to search on social media before they search on Google, which doesn't sound like maybe a lot, but it's a good indicator of what's to come, because when it comes to Gen Z, we see statistics like, 40% of Gen Z are going to social media first before they go to traditional search like Google.
Yeah.
That's huge. It's almost 50%.
No, I mean, and then there's 2 points on that. So like 25%, it's not crazy now. It's still significant now.
Oh,
I mean, that's the same number we use when we say like, we're trying to show that adults get orthodontic treatment in increasing numbers. I mean, it's the same ratio. So it's still significant and it's growing. That's the most important thing. And then also it's when we're talking about like who's your demographic as like a local orthodontist, local dental professional, it's usually moms.
Yeah.
And we usually talk about millennial moms and what are their behaviors. Okay, but like Gen Z is aging up as well.
Gen Z moms are coming.
Gen Z moms are coming. Gen
Actually,
Z moms
that's
are
scary
here.
to say out loud.
It is kind of scary. It feels like a teen mom situation, but
I'm old.
but like no, like it's like I'm Gen Z. I'm about to turn 27. Yeah. So like we're heading in that direction where we need to be thinking that way of like what is that 25% doing, because that 25% is about to be your at your door.
And this whole conversation is talking about we know we're ahead of the curve. Mm-hmm. Sharing that so that you can stay ahead of the curve. That's the name of the game.
Absolutely.
When it comes to this entire episode.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about the specific ways that I recommend people building in SEO.
Yes. Because
I'm sure there are segues into what you're doing. Mm-hmm. The first thing is that how you were saying you were searching on, for wedding this, wedding that.
Yeah.
You're probably searching for Memphis photographer, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want people to be building in whatever their location is for that local side of things with whatever their industry is into the name on their social media profiles. Different than username. I'm going to use Dr. Kyle for an example, but like Memphis Braces might be like his username, right? But like maybe the name on his account would be, Dr. Kyle / Memphis Orthodontist or Memphis, Braces, something that is going to be searched, but it has to be in the name spot. It's different. Username and name, they're indexed differently, but they matter. And I imagine it's somewhat like how domains started.
Yeah, it's so funny because yes, it is. And then there's also just different, placement matters. So like the hierarchy of your page, like heading structure, that you get more points.
It's like more authority of it being in your name versus like in your bio, which my second point, your bio on all platforms should have a few keywords that people are searching for. So definitely your location. If there's something, specific about your practice, let's say you're, the top Invisalign provider, like words like best and top and things like that are going to be searched and you want it to be with industry terms. Having that right there in your bio is not only going to be helpful for the human perspective, but also to tell the algorithm what your account is about and if someone is searching for it to come up. So definitely the name is important, and the bio is important to have filled out with, keywords. Anytime we're talking about keywords, we're about to talk about search queries and all of that, where to put it on your actual posts. But traditionally, how do you find what you're going to optimize for on your side of things? And I'll tell you how I find it on mine.
Yeah. So there's several different ways, and we use them kind of interchangeably depending on what we're doing. But I mean, SEMrush is my favorite.
Yeah.
So this is a platform where we can go in and do keyword research, and it's like, I can type in orthodontist, and I can even select like the city that I want to find out what are people searching around this term, and it'll share a wealth of information, including like search volume, how many people are searching that per month. It'll tell me how hard it is to rank for that because of like how much content's already out there. And then it'll give me like suggested questions people are asking surrounding it. So I might have put in orthodontist, but it could bring up like, who's the best orthodontist in Austin? And that's like a term people are looking for. So it kind of like creates clusters of keywords that like surround what you're looking for.
I am using SEMrush too. I'm also using my own search behaviors to think, what would I search? Like, I'm putting myself in the audience's shoes.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're running your practice's social media, put yourself in a potential lead's shoes. What is someone searching where you want your videos to come up? Start writing those things down. Using tools like SEMrush, I also think that because these platforms are social engines, if you start typing in the beginning of a query, see how it automatically fills it out for you. Copy that whole list, and those are the terms and search queries that you want to integrate into your social media posts. Now, where do you put those things? One, your caption. Now, the same way that we talk about blogs, we don't want them to read only for robots, only for humans. It needs to be for both. But there are times where your caption could answer someone's question, the same way that your blog would answer somebody's question if you were on Google. So you want to be thinking about it that way, to be building in, those terms, keywords, search queries into your captions. My number one favorite hack that works, I would say 80% of the time when I'm using it on post, I can see the direct correlation to it working. This is really my favorite social media hack ever. Out of all the things I've ever recommended.
Everybody start taking notes.
Get your notepad out. All those keywords we talked about, all those specific search queries. If I'm going to go post a video, I want to copy and paste everything on the screen, and I want to drag it off. So it's not going to be seen by the public, but it's going to be indexed by the platform.
So smart.
You can track it. If you were to post a video, and I've done this on my side of things just to see, am I right? Put something that has nothing to do with the video on the back end of it, right? I pull off questions that have nothing to do with the video, and then I go search for those terms, or I'm seeing the search insights and the info that I get in analytics, and seeing that my post that had nothing to do with what I put on the screen is ranking for those terms.
That's so funny.
So it works. Like it does.
Yeah.
And it helps content live longer, because you are building in what they're searching for. I have videos I've posted 3 years ago that get engagement every single day because it's actually what people are searching for.
Yeah.
So on videos, you want to be putting that on the screen, dragging it off. On posts like on Instagram, where you have like a photo or a carousel or a graphic, something like that, you want to go to more options and you want to click alt text. You want to copy and paste everything in there. That's not seen by the public, but it's going to do the same thing. You're basically building it into the back end.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like, that's one aspect of what we would do for like on-page SEO, or, we would give an image title. So like, what do we want Google to read about this image?
I love that you said that.
Yeah.
So I know that that's a practice that you guys do. So I've been playing around recently, and I don't have any definitive data yet, but I have theories that even the titles of the files that I'm uploading, the video file I'm posting, the photo that I'm going to share, does that play a part? Like, it almost like seems like, why wouldn't it?
It does, yeah. I agree.
So I've never found definitive answers on like if that makes or breaks a post, so to say. But I think, why would it not? If we know all these other things about social media. So keyword search queries on the screen, drag it off in alternative text. Other text to drag off the screen, closed captions. So we'll recommend closed captions for a million reasons. But one of the reasons that I like to talk about it is because a lot of people add closed captions in, a separate software, CapCut, whatever you're using to add your closed captions on. But I recommend everyone, when they go to post the video like natively, to click the auto caption button from the platform. Let it auto generate your captions. Go through, make sure nothing's like crazily misspelled, whatever. Drag it off the screen too. Wow. So even though you already have your captions kind of on there from your third-party editing software, you're going to also drag that off the screen so that all the words that you're saying, not only like is it picking up on the audio to help index, but you're actually verbatim writing out everything that person said.
Yeah, because that was one of my questions is like, does it use, can it pick up on the audio?
Yes.
Does it care about the keywords that you use when you're actually speaking in 100%. A video? Okay.
100%. I do think that it cares a little bit more about the words that are with it.
Okay.
I don't know if that's because it trusts it more or what, but when I'm testing things out and looking at what someone actually searched to find what specific video, I see that it comes more from what I'm writing than what I'm saying.
Like the caption and the text you're pulling off screen.
Yes.
Okay.
But not to say that it's not
all of it.
Also audio.
Well, it's the same for us. Like, I mean, you have so many different tools. I mean, there's an endless amount of things you could do for SEO. Like, they're all prioritized differently depending on like what is the algorithm's preference of the the moment.
Yes.
That's so fascinating.
So interesting. So there's lots of actual ways to implement SEO. I'll also help people too. Not every, just to make things easy on whoever's posting at your practice. Make buckets the same way that we used to make hashtag buckets. Make buckets of the commonly searched things. Maybe the more times that you put that specific query with your posts, you'll be found,
So what I love about this is that it's so easily integrated
and
into
trackable.
I mean, there's
a dream.
People, I mean, I think that's the biggest like qualm with like social that we've encountered. I think is that people don't see the value because they think it's superficial.
Yes,
they think it's just like dancing videos. I mean, we've heard people say, I don't want to like just post dancing videos.
Yes.
It's like, that's not the whole point.
And I mean, I've said it once, I'll say it again. I've never asked anyone to dance on social media.
For the record.
Yeah, no, like
put it
let
in
it
the
be
transcript.
Known. I do like that we're talking about this though, because it brings up the conversation of GEO.
Absolutely.
People thinking that, they don't have the time for social media, or why does it matter? All of those things. I think that social media becomes even more important when we talk about GEO. So I want to chat about that. But before we do, can you give us a little rundown about what GEO is and what we know about it? Because it's not a lot, but we know a little bit.
Yeah, we're learning more every day. So, and we've had episodes about this too. Yeah. If you want to do like a deep dive, we've got a couple of.
That was such a great episode. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. I mean, we're on our way. So every day there's new insights. So just to kind of cap that, but
we probably only know more since we even filmed that one.
Even
which
like
not that long
since
ago.
Yesterday. Yeah. I mean, it's like so fast.
It's like Instagram updates.
It is. It's always
every
going.
day something new.
But no, GEO. It's Generative Engine Optimization. Some people use the term Ask Engine Optimization.
Yep, I've seen that.
There's, I don't know where we're going to land on it, but it's essentially the
AI.
I
optimized all those podcast clips for both terms.
See, you're already on it. It's basically the AI version of SEO.
Yep.
So ultimately, they're about the same thing, but it's just for different platforms.
Yep.
And so, I mean, right now where we're at in GEO is we're looking at how you're what level of visibility you have in queries on LLMs. So this would be ChatGPT, Perplexity, things like that. And, so how often are you showing up and what content is surfacing about you when you show up?
Yeah. I think what I know about GEO is that, in short, it cares more about what maybe other people are saying about you than traditional search cares. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it is hard to explain how more qualitative
Yeah.
it is.
Like it's pulling from reviews, whereas a Google search is not pulling from your reviews and what people are saying about you online. Like it relies a lot on your website.
And it may be, but it's doing it more in a data focused way. If that makes sense. So
makes a lot of sense.
You've got 498 5-star reviews. Yeah, you are more likely to show up, but it's not reading each review.
Yeah.
It's making it a quantity.
This brings in the social media side of things. I think social media becomes far more important with the way search is going with AI, because like, have you ever asked ChatGPT Chat? Have you ever asked Chat, like who you are? Like who is Emily Murrow?
Affectionately known as Chat. I love that. Yes, I have. So, but it was on your prompting, I will say.
I was going to, so this is a question I like to ask, because the first time I ever did it for myself was about me.
Which I think is insane.
Oh, because that would have never come up on Google. No. And so that's another cue to me that what you have online, not only just having a presence, getting other people to talk about you online, the same way that people, offices encourage reviews, we're going to have to start having conversations about how to encourage people to talk about you on social media.
Yeah.
Right? Which we talk about engagement, getting people to, the end of your captions, asking people to comment. Things like that. I think all of that is going to play a huge part in how these LLMs develop and how GEO strategies kind of come to be. Or do you agree?
No, I absolutely agree. Because again, it's the qualitative, it's the human aspect. So funnily, like we're leaning more. We talk more AI, but we're leaning more human.
Yeah,
and we're seeing that in so many different capacities. So I mean, when you're trying to like rank on an LLM, we're finding that like more contextual information, fully explaining, who you are, because it's like, and I've said this before and I'll say it a million times, it's like SEO is 3D, AI search is 4D. It's a totally new dimension, and it's adding so many different layers. Yeah,
analogy,
I mean, it's so complex, that difference between those. That alone shows how much like social impacts it.
Yeah.
I think that LLMs are pulling from so many different categories that we just never would have thought of. Yeah. And it really does reiterate that whole like idea of like what, the internet is forever.
Yes.
Like it's out there. So and then something is going to find it, and it's just speeding up that research process for people.
Yeah.
So if they can find something about you, and like too, I mean, I think everybody wants to know like, how do I rank? And we want to use the word rank because we use that for Google, and it's just so different for AI. And for search or for social, I mean, I believe.
I read a report that someone posted on LinkedIn, I believe SEMrush did, that was talking about how currently things are ranking when you search on, ChatGPT, that it's not even necessarily always pulling from the first page of Google, right? Which leads me to believe all these other avenues that you're chatting about. But I think that the overall takeaway is that if you think that social media is too much for you to do now, or you're like, I don't understand, it is, I always say it, more important than ever to just get on there. It's the same way that like we're still having that conversation about websites versus like, some practices who don't have a website. It's not just about being on there anymore. We're 12 steps ahead of you talking about how do we leverage your social media on other platforms?
Yeah, and we talked to you about like, I mean, there's so many, we could go down so many rabbit holes, but like just a few points from that is like
a typical phone call.
I know, typical phone call. You really are like a fly on the wall today. So like if we, we talk about like how long your domain has been up, same thing. And it's a very similar thing. It's just
so
we
true.
have, the beauty of this is that we have seen, 3 decades of the internet to know from a search perspective, like what's working in this traditional sense. And we're doing like 2.0 now. I mean, this, again, it's moving to 4D, but a lot of the principles are still the same. And we tell people all the time, if you have a website that you just like got online, 2 years ago, but somebody down the street has been up for 15 years, Google's known them for longer.
Yes.
You know, I mean, they have that little bit of extra authority. And the same thing here, like, get up there now because, and I'll say this, I really think that given the conversations that we've had and where I think search is going, this is the best time because most people have not done it yet.
Yeah.
And it is almost like guaranteed that this is the direction we're going. So like do it now and be there.
It's so trackable.
Yeah.
And it's updating very quickly. Like you can test out strategies and theories and things very quickly to kind of figure out where things are headed. If I hear a lot, you know, someone who has either inherited a social media account or they buy a practice and they inherit an account that way. Maybe they have trouble logging in or they are hacked or something along these lines. Like they can't get into their social media profiles. I will fight the good fight as long as possible to try and get that account back because it has that authority. And I think it becomes more important.
Yeah.
Even as we talk about what is trusted online, what the robots trust and what they don't.
Yeah.
I think you have a lot of authority. I also think that followers might play a part. I have theories there that, you know, when we talk about success metrics, typically we're not talking about followers with a practice because it's not necessarily an indicator of bringing in new patients, which is what I'm most concerned about. It helps with, you know, adding credibility to your account and things like that. On a human level, it adds credibility. So on a AI robotic level,
it could be going that way.
Of course, I mean, I can't see why it wouldn't add to your credibility to have that number be up there. So maybe that's a conversation we start to have in the future of, you know, that number or that metric becoming more important.
Yeah. And two, I just want to like kind of zoom out a little bit as well. Because from my perspective, there's nothing else that you leave with. It's just that search itself is entirely different now. I mean, we are headed into a completely new frontier in that it was traditional SEO. Now and that was the whole thing. That was the whole pie. Now it's a third of it because now we have traditional SEO on platforms like Google, and then you've got AI search, and then you have social search. And in general, they all create this like new trifecta of just search visibility. And we're going to start thinking about them that way. And I don't know how soon it will be, but it's on the horizon and it's, you know, in many ways here. So just kind of reframing visibility. That's the new thing.
Yeah. And it's a good time to start.
Yeah.
I think that's how I feel like it's a good place to end today. I think that I'm ready to talk to anybody about SEO on social. And I know that we're going to keep having conversations and creating resources for clients.
Absolutely.
So, you know, if you're interested in having that conversation and getting started now, and, you know, maybe you don't even have the good foundation set yet to start implementing some of these strategies and playing the game. It's a good time to have that conversation, to get started, to start thinking about those things. So hopefully you learned something new today. Lots of things you can start doing now, and you know where to go. If you need, come talk to me. If you, you know, are ready to start talking about some SEO strategies. But I'm so glad we got to record one of our phone calls today. This was great.
I know. When's the next one?
Seriously. But yeah, hopefully you learned something new. Let us know if you're interested in talking more about SEO on social. I know both of us would be happy to chat about it. And we'll catch you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Bye.